Haunted houses. The idea of things jumping out at you from seemingly nowhere, hearing shrieks and moans from unknown sources, and the thrill in your heart at the anticipation of what lays await for you in the next room. Many of us have paid for this entertainment and have enjoyed the idea of haunted houses, but very few of us actually know that the idea comes from a real building constructed by America's first serial killer, H.H. Holmes. My knowledge of the horror genre extends out of the world of fiction. I love reading nonfiction, biographies, old newspaper articles dating hundreds of years back. The serial killer is a very particularly interesting concept for me. Just the idea, the lives that they led that got them to where they were, and the way that their minds grasped the world around them was just so, it's just so inarticulate from the way that you and I think. H.H. Holmes actually took America out of a safe zone. We watched Britain deal with Jack the Ripper, and we felt safe until the Chicago affair of 1893, where we dealt with our first serial killer. H.H. Holmes came from a well-to-do family. He had a college education, and then went on to just scam. He faked being a doctor, he faked insurance scams, pharmaceutical scams, and once money wasn't enough, he moved on to Chicago, and he bought a building that he also killed his way into owning, used many different construction crews, and had this murder castle built. Hallways that shrunk as you walked down them, doors that led to walls, staircases that dropped off into nothing. Each room led away to some sort of terrible, torturous death, and each room also had a chute that led down to an industrial-sized incinerator. And so once it was finally found, they estimated hundreds of bodies had been killed in there, but there was no way of knowing at that time. They just didn't have the resources to find out how many he killed. But Holmes was very much into financial means, and once the fair was over, the economy drifted away, so he did as well. He actually drifted away to Fort Worth first, but he found the police to be too watchful for him, so he ended up leaving here very shortly. The man that would get him caught, he actually met in jail while he was incarcerated for a short time for trying to steal a horse. This man, he actually gypped out of $500 that he was supposed to pay him. Well, he didn't. This man turned him in for his insurance scam ideas, and once that was in the papers, the custodian from the murder castle actually went to the police in Chicago and said, "This man never let me clean the upper floors. I was only allowed to clean the bottom floor." And so when they went back to investigate this abandoned building, what they found was just horrible means of death and torture, and so many lives that we don't even know still today who was all lost there. Holmes was killed by hanging. It wasn't quick. His neck did not snap, so it was actually a slow and torturous death for him. He's actually quoted to say, just a couple days before he was to be killed or executed, he said, "I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer, no more than a poet can help the inspiration to sing." Well, Holmes, born with the devil in him, has actually brought the devil out of us just a little bit every Halloween from the haunted house that we wouldn't have without his real creation. I use 3 sources for my speech. There's the murderpedia.org. They use all sorts of biographical material, have reports about hundreds of murderers all throughout the world, all time zones. I also used The Devil in the White City by Eric Larson. This is a real account of things that happened in more detail in the times of Chicago. And also American Serial Killers. It's a 10-part thing that hits on our major serial killers and Jack the Ripper. Thank you.